Item: SCP-001. Codename: Last Ride of the Day. Object Class: Thormeal. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-001 is kept in an armed bunker at Area 31311. Weekly maintenance of critical parts is to be conducted by on-site engineering staff. SCP-001's bulkhead must remain open at all times. In the event of an impending ZK, YK, CK, XK Greek letter Delta, or VK class scenario, the orders for the usage of SCP-001 are to be unsealed and used by the designated 001 liaison, currently, Dr. Katrina Hiroshi. For this reason, the designated 001 liaison is to be permanently stationed at Area 31311. Description: SCP-001 is an experimental vehicle created by Prometheus Labs, who designated it Project Backaway. Constructed out of a modified shipping container, SCP-001 is 13.59 meters long, 2.44 meters wide, and 2.9 meters high. Its exterior has been reinforced with an unknown substance that, to date, has completely withstood all attempts to cut through. Interior access can be achieved through a bulkhead at one end. The bulkhead can only be opened from within. It leads to the cockpit of SCP-001. This comprises a third of the interior. The cockpit area is comprised of a single chair with 6 layers of seat belts, several control consoles, monitors, and 2 bins for storage. The remaining 2/3 contain the internal workings of SCP-001. Maintenance is conducted via one of the consoles. There is no known intentionally designed means of manually repairing SCP-001, as the remainder of the interior is completely sealed off. Though on-site documentation was partially destroyed at the time of its discovery, enough was recovered to determine that SCP-001 is the prototype of a time machine. The time travel function requires an external energy source that does not currently exist in our world. Secondary operations are carried out through an unknown, presumably anomalous power source. Currently, the only operable console functions of SCP-001 are internal lighting, cockpit air conditioning, maintenance, movement 1, AM/FM radio, a word processor, Spider Solitaire, and the hunt for Mr. Stinky 2. Notice: this article is outdated and has been revised. Proceed to the next iteration. Footnotes. 1. This is conducted through a gravitational repulsion field on the bottom chassis. Due to the fact that its maximum speed is 1 km/h and its maximum altitude is 28 centimeters, this is only useful for repositioning during storage. 2. Part of the short-lived Mr. Stinky series of computer games included with Prometheus Labs software as an added bonus. Redirecting. As per the ongoing priority restructuring brought about by Project Beluga, SCP-001 has been designated a relevant beta. Those who have been assigned with SCP-001's containment have already had their duties issued privately. This article bears more immediate importance to the orders in your inbox. Remember, we cannot afford to be distracted in the face of this crisis. Item: SCP-UBU. Object Class: Shiamat. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-UBU must be neutralized by any means necessary. Neutralization efforts are ongoing via Project Beluga. All non-critical resources have been diverted into Project Beluga as needed. Further information and strategic resources are restricted to Project Beluga staff. Description: SCP-UBU refers to a violent and extremely hostile humanoid entity that appeared in Kangaatsiaq, Greenland, on the 12th of May, 2588. The sudden materialization of SCP-UBU coincides with an ongoing OIACAS augmented end of death scenario 1. This was believed to be a separate phenomenon until the stream of regenerative lambda waves was triangulated to SCP-UBU. This event also coincided with the following phenomena. A mass loss of function for all SCP-2578-D, SCP-3319, and other objects operated by the Three Moons Initiative. The cessation of all further SCP-2922 communications. The severance of the extra-dimensional space known as the Wanderer's Library from Earth. A representative of the Serpent's Hand cited irreconcilable security concerns in the decision. Several incidents in which a representative of Marshall, Carter, and Dark, having gained access to the O5 Council's personal contact information through unknown means, desperately tried to sell the Foundation large amounts of the company's stock. SCP-40002 losing all anomalous properties. A small parchment note reading "Good luck" was found in the entryway. SCP-3008 being anomalously bought out by an unknown proprietor and slowly converted into a shelter. In addition to anomalously high physical strength and speed, SCP-UBU has reality-bending capabilities to an unknown extent, usually triggered by screaming or slapping. Defensively, it has remained unscathed from the following damage sources. Blunt force trauma. Sustained heavy caliber machine gun fire. Temperatures of 1600 Kelvin. Sustained artillery fire. A direct energy discharge from SCP-B7-B8. Simultaneous direct nuclear strikes. 3. The only lasting damage to SCP-UBU occurred on the 14th of August 2784, when the entity chewed off its left thumb out of apparent curiosity. This resulted in SCP-UBU emitting a single scream that lasted 7 days, after which it went into a month-long fit of crying and sobbing. The thumb completely regenerated after 30 years and 14 days. Anatomy. The entity is 4.3 meters in height. An exact estimate of its mass remains unknown, but measurement attempts during its brief containment displayed a minimum recorded weight of 15,399 kilograms. Though its anatomical composition remains unknown, SCP-UBU's bodily shape is consistent with an obese, androgynous humanoid. It is covered in hairless, pure white skin that bears a similar texture to that of a dolphin or other small whale. Despite being devoid of eyes, ears, or nostrils, SCP-UBU is fully capable of vision, hearing, and smell. The only apparent sensory organ on its body other than skin is a 0.5 meter wide humanoid mouth with a prehensile tongue of indeterminate length. There is a cloaca on its lower body for expelling waste. Behavior. SCP-UBU does not appear to understand speech in any known language. While it is capable of vocalizations, the majority of them are used for screaming, laughter, and intrigued babbling. Ever since its arrival, SCP-UBU has been devoted to causing as much destruction as possible. Though SCP-UBU will attack anything indiscriminately, SCP-UBU shows preference in assaulting and devouring human beings in densely populated areas. It takes an infantile and curious approach to violence, often playing with its victims for hours on end. The regenerative effect brought about by SCP-UBU's presence has eliminated the possibility of doing permanent damage to anything other than civil infrastructure and property. Ergo, whether there is any greater motive to its rampages other than sadism is unknown. SCP-UBU Timeline. The 5th of December 2588, 0533 GMT, a 4 kiloton explosion accompanied by an electromagnetic pulse destroys the town of Kangachsiak, Greenland. Survivors recall a pale green light enveloping the area. 0615 GMT, OA-class scenario begins, triggering widespread panic. 0846 GMT, O5 Command holds an emergency meeting to address a potential OA-class scenario. 1105 GMT, First sightings of SCP-UBU reported. The 15th of May 2588, 1200 GMT. In order to properly address the regenerative effect, the Foundation's veil is lifted as per the Broken Masquerade Protocol. 05-1 makes a statement to the UN. The 20th of May 2588, SCP-UBU arrives in St. John's, Newfoundland, beginning a 2-year rampage throughout the city. The 21st of May 2588, Mobile Task Force Nu 7 Hammer Down engages SCP-UBU in St. John's. The 7th of April 2590, 90% of the on-site personnel have been mutilated and regenerated at least 5 times. As such, MTF Nu 7 Desert St. John en masse in protest of anomalously poor working conditions. SCP-UBU uses the opportunity to break through the defensive line. The 10th of October 2590, Project Beluga is founded as a joint effort between the Foundation and the Global Occult Coalition for the purpose of neutralizing the threat posed by SCP-UBU. The 29th of December 2590, SCP-UBU reaches Columbus, Ohio. It spends the next year on the following project: digging a 2-kilometer deep hole in the center of the city, gathering 2.9 million people to throw into the hole, repeatedly leaping into the upper stratosphere and stomping into the hole, and drinking the resulting squeezed juices. It eventually grows bored with this and moves on to Lake Erie. The 1st of May 2592, SCP-UBU assaults several cargo ships in Lake Erie. 20 ships are thrown out of Earth's gravitational pull. 2 of them land on the Moon. Truncated for brevity. The 6th of October 2670, 0600 GMT, SCP-UBU is finally contained at Site-59. The 6th of October 2670, 0602 GMT, SCP-UBU breaches containment. Subsequent retrieval attempts fail. The 9th of September 2673, SCP-UBU spends 73 days rubbing its crotch against the Statue of Liberty while howling. It should be noted that SCP-UBU lacks any sort of visible genitalia. The 2nd of October 2674, the Schenectady Agreement is signed between NATO powers, the Russian Federation, the People's Republic of China, the Foundation, and the Global Occult Coalition. As such, due to environmental concerns, further nuclear strikes are prohibited against SCP-UBU. Shortly after signing, SCP-UBU breaks into the ceremony and makes a bead necklace out of a few lengths of woven rubber and 15 still living foreign dignitaries. The 30th of April 2674, SCP-UBU assaults Site-19. Relevant excerpts from Experiment Log T-98816 OC-108/682. Item: SCP-AF-4. Tissue test record. SCP-AF was able to successfully and irreversibly petrify the tissue sample. Note: we'll give her a microphone and a Barton-grade sonic amplification system for this, just in case the sound of her voice alone isn't enough. Dr. Robles. Termination test record. Test was met with external interference. Begin log. SCP-AF enters SCP-682's chamber. SCP-682 is hunched over in the corner. SCP-AF adjusts the microphone of her Barton system. Dr. Robles receives word that SCP-UBU is rapidly approaching Site-19. He addresses SCP-AF over an earpiece. Dr. Robles, stand by. AF, we're extracting you. SCP-AF, but I didn't do anything. Dr. Robles, there's an unrelated emergency. We'll run this test later. SCP-UBU suddenly breaks through the ceiling, landing on Af and crushing her. 682 sniffs the air, approaching Ubu with curiosity. Upon noticing 682, Ubu angrily defecates. SCP Ubu, Gashgar. Bwof Bega Fwaga Preef. Bwof Huoi Gok Gak Jek Gok Chag Durag Dugn Nam. 5. 682 snarls and lunges at Ubu. SCP-682, take that back. Ubu slaps 682's cheek. 682 screams. A glowing mark left by Ubu's hand spreads over 682's body. Once the glow completely envelopes 682, the bonds between its cells are instantaneously broken, dissolving 682 into a pool of assorted toxic bodily fluids. Ubu bathes itself in 682's remains for 5 minutes while giggling. As Af's body starts to regenerate, Ubu tears her head off and eats it. Upon locating her Barton system, Ubu proceeds to scream into the microphone for exactly 10 minutes, pause to breathe, then scream again for exactly 10 more minutes. Only then does Ubu leave to ravage the rest of the facility. SCP-682's body has yet to regenerate. The 30th of October 2685, SCP-Ubu breaks into Armed Containment Area 179 and swallows SCP-2317 whole. The 3rd of May 2686, following SCP-Ubu's assault, SCP-2000 has been reclassified neutralized. Truncated for brevity. The 15th of March 2750, former film star Nash de Groot publishes the Zong Manifesto, a book built on the following thesis: immortality and SCP-Ubu's rampages have made life on Earth intolerable, and the only solution is to enter an eternal coma via guided meditation and hard drugs. As such, a social movement known as the International Zonk gains traction. The 24th of June 2790, after a lengthy battle with Project Beluga forces in China, SCP-Ubu grows bored and retreats into the Bay of Bengal. This marks a 3-year absence of SCP-Ubu, save for continual underwater seismic events during that time. The 15th of February 2792, Cuddletopia, the largest Zonk Pile 6 so far, reaches its initial goal of 5 million residents and counting. The 7th of October 2793, SCP-Ubu flings SCP-3000 from the ocean, leaving it beached on Indian soil. Several cities are destroyed in the process. After spending a week pointing and laughing hysterically at SCP-3000, SCP-Ubu grabs the end of its tail and begins dragging it across Asia. The 8th of January 2793, still carrying SCP-3000, SCP-Ubu crosses the Bering Strait into Alaska. The 29th of August 2793, SCP-3000 and SCP-Ubu arrive on the eastern coast of Brazil. SCP-Ubu drags its cargo into the ocean once again. The 30th of August 2793, SCP-169 emerges. Reports that SCP-3000 had been tied around its neck have yet to be proven. Truncated for brevity. The 12th of October 3020, the fight between SCP-Ubu and SCP-169 ends when the former slaps the latter in the same way as SCP-682. SCP-169 has been reclassified neutralized. The 12th of November 3020, a 10-year period of inactivity from SCP-Ubu begins. At this point, despite global immortality, the resulting collateral damage has rendered the surface of the Earth uninhabitable and entirely underwater. Civilization carries on in a single archipelago of floating cities made from ships and debris. The 28th of May 3028, the archipelago is deserted. The Foundation's SCPS Naismith contains the only 140 remaining humans who haven't moved to New Zonkland 7. The 14th of January 3030, SCP-UBU sighted in the water off the port bow of the Naismith. It vocalizes mockingly before swimming in the direction of New Zonkland. The O5 Council calls an emergency meeting. Meeting transcript. RE-SCP-UBU sighting. Date: the 14th of January 3030. Time: 0105 GMT. Location: SCPS Naismith. Conference Room A. Begin log. O5-2. Calling roll. O5-1. O5-1. Present. O5-2. O5-2. That's me. O5-3. O5-1. Missing. O5-2. O5-4. O5-4. Remain silent. O5-2. O5-5. O5-1. Missing. So 6 through 10. Hurry it up. O5-2. 11. O5-11. O5-2. 12 and 13. O5-4. Blew their heads off again. O5-2. Exasperated sigh. Well, when they get up, tell them we need to conserve that ammunition. O5-1. What we need is a fucking plan. O5-4. You don't say. If only someone would hold a meeting about it. O5-1. You know what I mean. O5-2. 1. That's enough. O5-1. Yes. It is. O5-11. We haven't exhausted all of our anomalous options for neutralizing UBU. Where's the corncrake? O5-2. We've been over this, Lawrence. Throwing the corncrake in this mess is only going to. O5-4. It's anchored 57 clicks due southeast. O5-2. 4. Why the hell did you tell him that? O5-4. Because we're out of wine. Goodbye, everyone. O5-4 pulls out a pistol and shoots herself in the right temple. Chunks of her skull land on O5-1, who brushes them off in disgust. O5-1. Not the time or place. 4. O5-4's free hand raises a middle finger. O5-11. Well, friends? It seems the Omega K has had us up and about so long that our personalities have run out of the fuel we were given from birth. In all likelihood, we'd see better professionalism and teamwork in New Zonkland. O5-2. As a matter of fact, that's a good seg into what I was about to propose. O5-11 stands up. O5-11. Then frankly, I hope you find the nicest, cleanest spots in the mass grave. O5-1. Where are you going? O5-11. That depends. Which way is southeast? End log. Footnotes. 1. All multicellular life on Earth experiences a bodily regenerative effect, regardless of injury or illness. 2. Due to neutralization, Protocol 4000 issue is no longer in effect. 3. This test was notable as the only example so far of SCP-UBU expressing discomfort. 4. Object Class: Euclid. Humanoid anomaly capable of turning living flesh to limestone with her voice. 5. Though the language has not yet been identified, this remains the only vocalization from SCP-UBU to date that resembles any form of speech. 6. A sort of living mass grave composed of unresponsive adherents of the International Zonk. 7. A massive floating Zonk pile. Many of the residents there have resorted to using anomalous means to lose their consciousness and achieve perfect Zonk.